everyone. It is June, and June is Dairy Month. So today for our 4-H fun activity, we are going to make homemade cottage cheese, and we'll see if it compares to the real thing. For today's project, what you're going to need is 2/3 of a cup of vinegar. You can use white vinegar, or you could try the apple cider vinegar if you want something maybe a little sweeter. You need a whole gallon of whole milk, big enough pot to cook in. Obviously, I have a stove top here. I'm going to need a spoon, measuring cup, and a storage dish to put my cottage cheese in when I'm done. So to get started, we're actually going to use the whole gallon of milk. We're going to pour the whole thing into our, whoops, that's vinegar, Janet. Ooh, that would be fun and funny. Pour our whole gallon in. Now, we are actually going to cook our milk or heat it up until just about boiling. That's 190 degrees. If you don't have a thermometer, like I haven't been able to find one today here, what I'm going to do is just kind of put the top on and check it periodically. So we're going to cook the milk until just about boiling. Going to take a while if your milk's straight out of the fridge because it's going to be cold. So while that's cooking, we'll get our vinegar measured out. We do need 2/3 of a cup of that. So liquid measuring cup, 2/3, flat surface so that we are measuring correctly. Whoop. And we'll let this get cooking. Once we're just up to boiling, I'll be back with you to show you the next step. Okay, I'm switching over to my cell phone so we can see into the pot so I don't drop my work laptop into this pot of hot milk. Give it a stir, make sure we're going all the way around the pot to get a uniform temperature reading. So I'm going to take my thermometer, hold it in, and you guys can see the temperature rising. Again, not touching the sides or the bottom of the pot so I get a really good reading. We're getting there. We're at about 165 degrees. So put the top back on and wait for our milk to boil. All right, time for another temperature check. All right, perfect. We are at 190 degrees. I'm going to turn the temperature, the element off on the stove. Now, our vinegar, we're going to add that to our mixture. Bubbled up a little bit, not quite as much as I thought it would do. And we're going to stir it. And as we're stirring it, we're seeing the acid precipitate the solids out of the milk. And when I say milk solids, I'm talking your fat, your protein, your butter fat, really. Whole milk is 97% fat-free, so really good for you. So we're just precipitating our solids. We're just stirring our mixture up, having a little kitchen chemistry going on. Once all of our curds have been separated out, we will pour it through a colander and strain our mixture. Alright, so while I was letting my milk heat up, I actually did go through the drawers in the kitchen here, and I found a thermometer, which is better it come from here than the ones I have upstairs in the 4-H office, because you don't know what I've been doing with those. We're going to give our milk a little bit of a stir. It's been on for about, 8 minutes now. It came out of the refrigerator approximately 38 degrees. That's what the thermometer in the fridge says. So I'm just holding my thermometer here above my milk, not touching either sides, right in the middle of the pot, not touching the bottom, any sides, so that I get an accurate temperature reading. And I am at approximately 145 degrees, so we'll put the top back on. And we'll wait for our milk to get up to 190 degrees to temperature for where we're actually going to have a chemical reaction today in the kitchen. So we're going to do some kitchen science and take our vinegar, which is an acid, right? A low-grade acid. We use it in pickling and fermenting different food products, and also some cool experiments making volcanoes. But we have a weak acid. We're going to add it to our milk. And what we should do is actually precipitate the solids out of the liquid milk to make our cheese curd for our cottage cheese. So it's pretty cool. You get to cook in the kitchen, you get to do some chemistry, and you get something really good and nutritious to eat. So a few more degrees of temperature to get it up there, and we'll start our chemical reaction. All right, I have my mixture. I have some oven mitts on. I'm actually going to pour my mixture into a colander to strain it. I forgot to mention that on my list of materials when we first started, and see how we did with our homemade cottage cheese. You could also add a little bit of salt to this while the milk is heating if you wanted to. Woo. Got a little bit crazy here. I need a bigger colander. We'll wait for all the liquid to run off. So if you guys are a fan of nursery rhymes, Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet eating her curds and whey. Curds are the solid part of cheese making. Whey is the liquid part. I don't know how well you can see this, but our whey is actually kind of a yellowish white liquid, not because of the vinegar, but because of the color of the milk. So once we get this drained, give it a little shake. All right, and we'll pour it into our bowl. I made a mess of the sink, so just be prepared for that. You might need a spoon to scrape it out. Now, is this going to look just like store-bought? Probably not. It's going to be a little bit different. Store-bought cottage cheese is actually two products. It's a cheese curd with a cheese sauce on it to make it look creamy. So, to compare, I have our homemade cottage cheese along with a store-bought cottage cheese, both whole milk. You can see the store-bought is much creamier. The curds are bigger just because of the process of making it. My cottage cheese here actually looks more like ricotta, which you could use if you were going to make like lasagna or stuffed shells or something. So, this was Cottage Cheese Making with Janet. To find out more about Shenango County 4-H, visit our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, both under Shenango County 4-H.